According to the just released Police Annual Crime Report 2024, in Uganda, majority of fire occurrences are in Kampala Metropolitan Region, with 993 cases out of a total 1,280 cases reported in the entire year 2024. Most of these fires are registered on residential buildings. Over the years, the city has witnessed loss of lives, property and livelihoods due to these fires. The latest being at Sunrise Hotel at Hamis Rashid Road in Old Kampala. Makerere University's Ivory Tower was razed down on September 20th, 2020. In this report, we uncover the causes of fires in Kampala, police preparedness to fight them, and the challenges firefighters face. There have been recurrent fires in the city, and I am here seeing lots of equipment. I have a number of questions about response when a case is reported, but preparedness as well. But also, what happens when the siren goes off? What happens when they receive a call that there is a fire somewhere? I have a number of questions, and I need them answered. What are the major causes of these fires in the city?
The causes of fires that happen range from one, arson. There are cases of arson where fires are set deliberately. There are cases where fires happen as a result of what you could term as negligence, where you have people acting in a manner that makes them vulnerable to fires. There are also fires that happen as a result of malfunction of electrical appliances within buildings. All that coupled together contributes to different fires across the country.
I would like us to get back to that case of Sunrise Hotel on Hamis Road in Old Kampala. Now that fire is said to have been caused by chemicals from a business that was operating beneath a hotel. As the police fire department, do you have operations, basically put up mitigation measures for them to be dealt with?
Thank you. For us as Fire and Rescue Services, we do inspections of facilities in conjunction with other partners like Building Review Board, National Building Review Board. Then we have KCCA. We also have other stakeholders like Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. But for us, our interest usually is related to what we call fire hazards. What are the potential things or activities in place that can potentially cause a fire? In regard to the case of the fire in Sunrise Hotel, it's unfortunate, first of all, that such a fire happened in that hotel, but we are studying the whole situation because a similar fire happened in a building called Nyumba Kubwa in Arua Park under almost similar circumstances. So yes, there are some chemicals that are highly volatile. If mishandled, can result to fire. There are chemicals, we call them pyrophoric chemicals. These are chemicals which can catch fire in exposure to open air. That's one. Two, if they are exposed to moisture, they can also cause a chemical reaction which will potentially cause fire. But now what we have done so far is to engage other partners like police forensic services to come and work with us to study places which have such chemicals. The other unfortunate bit is that the building of concern which caught fire, which is Sunrise Hotel, there is what we call mixed occupancy in buildings, where a building has a business, at the same time it has maybe a residence, at the same time it could be having a hotel, like in the case of the other Sunrise Hotel. These are issues which need to be spelled out very well in the building regulations. If a building is having such a mixed occupancy, where you have shops, you have people dealing in many other items, as well as a hotel, what are the level of fire protection that are required in such a building? Those things need to be spelled out very well in the building regulations for us to promote safety of the citizens. In front of you here we have small fire trucks. Small fire trucks in a sense that they are basically used for what we call rapid response.
Yes.
These ones are applicable when you need a quick response and there is a jam, so you will be able to utilize those vehicles which can maneuver through traffic. These are for rapid response. The other side, we have what we call aerial ladder trucks.
Okay.
These are meant to carry out rescue operations when somebody is maybe threatened by any emergency and that person needs to be evacuated from a high-rise building, so you can utilize a truck like that. Okay. Those are special purpose.
So that is this and that?
Yes. Here in the city we have three. We have three so far. One is parked in front of the station here.
Now, from what you're telling us, really, does police have capacity to deal with emergency fires?
We have a level of capability to a certain level. We are not completely below level, no. We have a certain level of capacity to respond to emergencies around the city and also other parts of the country. However, we have a challenge of coverage if it comes to other parts of the country, where you have low coverage of fire stations. Like in some places you might find that one single fire station manages about 4 districts. That is quite difficult if you are to cross from one district to another. That is a challenge. But in Kampala, we have capacity, and this is growing capacity. Government is always increasing our capacity, yes, to respond to emergencies.
Now, with your available capacity at this fire station, like you have just taken us through,
yes,
how do you rate police's response to fire incidents in the city?
As far as police response in the city, our response, I can rate it as a good response. We have good response capacity in the city.
You see, there have been cases where you reached on the scene and you don't have water. You got there, or someone gave you a call and there's no fuel in this vehicle.
No, we don't operate like that. Police management ensures that the director of fire here has sufficient fuel. We have a pump just here which fuels our vehicles. Number 2, we have water all the time in a hydrant here. Our fire trucks are filled with water all the time. The only question is, when a vehicle reaches the scene, does it have a hydrant nearby to refill it or to replenish the water it is discharging for fighting fire? That's where the problem is. But as far as our response is concerned, our response is good, because you cannot park a fire truck without water at any one time. Okay, so if I took you the other side on a ready responding vehicle, you will be able to inspect it and see very well what I'm talking about. Let's go. have different challenges. One, there are challenges of accessibility to some scenes where, if for example you went outside in the suburbs of the city, you find that some residential areas have inaccessible roads. You have a big truck like this one, it cannot go through. Well, you may have a smaller one like that, but it has smaller capacity of less than 1,000 liters of water. So for it cannot sustain a long term firefighting operation. So you need a big capacity like this one.
This one.
Yeah. So
what's the capacity of this?
The capacity of this truck is 5,000 liters. 5,000 liters. Okay, it is divided into two. It has a tank of water.
Okay.
Of about 4,000 liters. Yeah, 4,000 liters of water. Then it has a chemical which is used for fighting petroleum fires, flammable liquids fires. So instead of us filling that tank of that chemical with the chemical, we fill it also with water. So it means we have 5,000 liters carried by this truck here. Okay. Yes.
So take us through. If you got an emergency call right now, what would happen?
If I got an emergency call right now, the call reaches our information room. We have an information room. The person responsible of the information room will press a siren, summoning firefighters, because firefighters are not always seated here. They are in the barracks there, some of them are in the dormitory here. So he presses that siren to summon the firefighters that there is need to respond. And it takes us about 1 to 2 minutes for us to completely ensure that the firefighters are out of this station and they are on their way going to the scene of fire. So this is a control room, which you can ordinarily call information room. This is where all calls are received from. This control room is managed by a minimum of 2 people at any one time. Okay. On their table here, you have various call receiving gadgets. We have a VHF, which is a very high frequency radio system. Then we have table phones, we have mobile phones. They are all here for call receiving purposes. It is here that dispatch is done.
Okay.
When these people receive a call of any nature or any emergency, they record it down, they give it a serial number, and that call is duplicated on what we call a dispatch pad. Then that dispatch pad is what is given to the commander of the team who is responding to any incident.
Yes.
So they press a siren from there. That is a sound. So they come running here. They dress on their firefighting gear. They board the vehicle, then they go out. That is for their response. You see, he has even come.
Because we rang the siren.
Yes.
And he was ready to respond.
Yes, he's ready to respond. Even our father here is ready to respond.
Interesting.
Yes. So that is how we react. And it's usually between 1 to 2 minutes, no exceeding that.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
In fact, even 2 minutes is usually too much. You can see they had a siren, they quickly came.
Yes.
Yes, that's
so
how.
From here, that's when they get the orders, the serial number,
the nature of the call, the telephone number of the caller, the place where the call has come from. That's the information, the brief information which this will give those people. So also we are like any other office. We also have our portable firefighting gadgets. We don't want a situation where they say fire and rescue sells us install extinguishers for them they don't have. So we also have ours here.
Besides the fire extinguishers, do you have any other fire mechanisms on the building?
We have those detectors. Those are called standalone smoke detectors. You have had
Just
someone.
coming from that dormitory. Wow.
You have had a vehicle sounding. They have started the vehicle.
Oh, they have started the vehicle.
Come and
To the
see.
vehicle. Run to the vehicle.
Come on, Achanya, follow me.
Let me get my bus. They are going to drive off. Eh?
This truck here,
Can I keep you with my bus?
you can even see the team is already there on board. Okay, they were ready to respond.
Wow.
They don't take expression for granted at all. This vehicle carries about a crew of minimum 6 people, the 4 firefighters, the commander and the driver. But sometimes they, yes, so sometimes they go more than 6. Yeah, depending on how the situation is at the scene. That is the third vehicle I told you about, aerial ladder truck. It is also a firefighting vehicle. It carries about 4,000 liters in that tank.
Okay.
So it is capable of conducting firefighting operations as well as rescue. Yeah, that's the purpose of this one.
When do you use it?
When there is a fire in those tall buildings, that's when you use it.
This one?
Yes.
Have you used some of these equipment in particular fire cases?
Yes.
Like which one? What?
We have, when there was fire in Sauriako, there's a building that caught fire there. Even Sunrise Hotel. During Sunrise Hotel fire, the other vehicle was used. That one. So okay. It operated by directing the firefighters on the window where they were to send water to in order to suppress the fire. So that vehicle worked very well that day.
That one?
Yeah.
Okay. So going forward, how would you advise the people who are watching us, our audiences, to respond in case of a fire outbreak or in case there is fear that certain activities going on in those buildings could cause a fire?
In as far as the preparedness is concerned, in any place, it could be a workplace, it could be a residence, it could be a school. People need to be prepared. How do you prepare? You have to understand the activities that happen in that environment every day. If you are a production plant, you must know the production processes that take place in such a facility. If maybe you are, say for instance, a place where you do maybe welding activity for people who are doing welding of metals, you should know that such activity can easily lead to fire.
Yes.
So you just need to first of all put your mind on the activities that you do and monitor them at all times to ensure that no fire happens in the process of you performing those activities. For people who do shops and probably arcades and so on,
yes.
Also monitor the flow of electricity within that environment. How are people using a current? Because that's where a possibility of a spark happening and it can cause fire in the entire building. Then for people who are using chemicals or whose activities of production or business activities relate to chemicals, you must know which chemicals is where at any one time. How does it behave if it is exposed to maybe heat? How does it behave if it is exposed to oxygen? Maybe if it is exposed to moisture like water. You must know the behavior of chemicals and how they might react to cause fire. If you manage that, then you will be able to ensure that no fire happens in your facility. In the side of response, if you witness a fire happening, there are 3 or 4 things that we normally tell people to bear in mind. One, raising the alarm to alert other people that there is fire.
Yes.
Okay. Number 2, you need to assist people who cannot assist themselves to evacuate when there is fire.
Yes.
Number 3, call for help by dialing the number of the fire department. Then number 4, use available firefighting equipment. Can be a fire extinguisher, can be a hose reel, can be any other firefighting equipment. Use that equipment to fight the fire as you wait for help from the fire brigade. Most fires start small really because of the nature of the environment where they happen, and they progress with the time. So if you yourself took action immediately when you see fire, you will actually stop that fire from spreading, and therefore you save the entire building from being on fire.
Specifically when it comes to response, it has been reported according to your annual crimes report of 2024 that most of the fires are due to short circuits and candle wax, mainly in residential areas. What advice do you give to our audience when it comes to residential areas?
For residential areas, I urge them again, monitor the wiring within the building. How is the wiring? Sometimes there can be loose connections. So if you see loose connections, you can call a technician who normally does the wiring for you. You correct the wiring. You avoid loose connections. Then number 2, electrical equipment such as fridges, fans, radios, TVs. You must only use them, or you must run them when you need them. If you don't need them, turn them off from the sockets. In that way, you are sure that they cannot be a potential cause of fire where you will be. Then number 2, or number 3, you need to ensure that children are also taught to behave well at home. In most cases, you find a child can start playing with matches. A child will pick a matchbox, strike it, produce a smaller flame, and when a fire maybe reaches his or her fingers, the child will toss that flame, and consequently, from a small fire like that, you will find that the whole home can be involved in a fire. About candles, we advise people. These days we have technology that has advanced. There are a lot of rechargeable lights all over the market. So instead of using candles today, resort to using rechargeable lights or solar lights, so that you extend a fire which can arise from a candle away from your home completely. If you do that, you will remain safe and you will not register fire in your home. But above all, I can say the public should be vigilant. Do not see fire and fail to report, however small it is. Then number 2, if your neighbor has had a fire in his or her residence, don't say the neighbor has called. Call us even when the neighbor has called. Also, you as a neighbor should be concerned enough to call for help in order to assist your neighbor who may be experiencing a fire situation.
We have seen lay people on scenes, fire scenes or incidents, being the lifesavers. Where is police usually? Are you usually understaffed in responding to these emergencies? What happens?
We are not really understaffed as such. Of course, as the population grows, the number of firefighters also should keep on increasing. That means that we should have a sufficient fireman population ratio in a city like Kampala, compared to other parts of the country. So, as I said, our response is okay. The problem probably arises from the reporters who report fire. When you report fire, do you fight fire first before you report? what is your procedure in handling a fire situation. Like I told you, there is a need to alert, assist those who cannot assist themselves, especially like children and the elderly, maybe the disabled people. Then number 3, call for help, and then 4, fight the fire using available firefighting equipment. Again, sometimes we say if you can do so, if you cannot fight the fire, get out and stay away from that environment, because you might get hurt in the process of fighting a fire.
Whereas fire incidents in the city may not stop today, I have found some answers to my questions, that the police, fire and safety department has capacity to respond to fire incidents as they happen. But one thing is sure, that the community is a key stakeholder in dealing with fires in the city. My name is Vivian Kamsini.
New Vision TV. Stream smart, stream New Vision.